Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at juskeepswimming_podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your friend, your boy, your host, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we back at it again with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Mr.
1-3. Nah. No French today. You know, I had enough bread.
Take it back.
Yeah, what y'all know about that reverse, homie? That was crazy.
Nah, that always reminds me of, y'all remember Man in Black 2 that had Biz Marquis in it?
Yeah.
And he was in there, and then he like went reverse. I'm like, oh my God, this beatbox in reverse? That shit was crazy, man. Incredible scene. One of the best movie scenes ever. I'll tell you that one. Yes, but ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special episode for you guys today. And you already know we have a very special guest for you guys today, bringing them back again for, I don't know, fifth time?
Nah, third.
Third time? You sure it's third?
Yep, I think the first episode was the Think Tank, then we did the Big Truck Driver.
Oh, wow, shit, I thought it was more time than that.
Yeah, I thought it was at least one more, maybe.
I thought it was at least one more, too. You ain't talking bass vibrations?
Oh, I did.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
We were just talking about that, too.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, yeah.
So, bring it back to the microphone, bring one of my big cousins back out, Mr. Marvin Jackson. Marvin, how we doing today, fam?
I'm doing great. It's my off day. Didn't do too much. Actually did nothing. Had some hamburger hut for breakfast. Chill with the daughter.
What do you get there for breakfast? Eggs and stuff there?
Nah, I got chicken fingers. Sabrina got a chicken Philly cheesesteak, but she didn't give me none. Normally she give me half of it, but today she didn't give me none. So when you hear this, just yes, no.
Just know why I'm mad.
Just know.
I got you. Don't ask for no bites.
Right.
Nah, I feel that, fam. But nah, man, it's good to have you back, fam. Always good to have you in the building for sure.
Thank you.
And then I know we have a good episode to bring to you guys today. It's definitely one that you brought to my attention. So for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the power of books, pretty much. And, you know, just share a little bit about what we've been learning from some books we've been reading recently. So with that being said, I just kind of want to start off with the general question for everybody is, when did you first even get into reading books?
Still not into it. I'll be honest with you. I don't really like reading because for me, it's kind of like boring. So when I do read, it's just like, it makes me sleep. So thank God of technology. I know we were talking about it last time, but I would rather listen to a book.
Right.
Like for some people, they can read books and they can visualize it in their head. I cannot. I think because I'm a hands-on person. Like if you, let's say you go buy something to put together, I don't read the instructions. I look at the picture.
Look at the picture.
Yeah, I look at the picture and I go there, this go here. And I try not to read the instructions I need to, because it's just so boring for me. Like my mind doesn't. I guess I don't have that fantasy, I guess. But that's something I want to get into. Like I told myself this year to either read or listen to one book a month, which is 12 books a year. I mean, I think I've seen a study that said like 70 or 80% of Americans don't read that many books in a year.
Right.
So that's what maybe got to get into it.
Yeah, I always seen the opposite side of the study where they say Fortune 500 CEOs read an average of like 2 books a month.
Yeah.
You know, so they're talking about, and it's not even just books on what exactly they're doing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's just reading a book in general to, you know, keep your vocabulary up, keep your imagination going, or learn new knowledge, new random knowledge that you may not that you need.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that, like, that's why I kind of picked it up from mom, which is why I started reading back in like middle school. And I feel like that definitely just increases the vocabulary for sure.
Yeah. See, now I told myself to read 1 book a month for this whole year. I wrote it down on like not my vision board. What the hell you have? New Year's resolution. Yeah. And I wanted some spiritual, mental, wellness. You know, just go down the list and read at least 1 book a month. Right. So I did 3 so far. I still got 2 credits. So
I mean, shit, bro. Look, you 50% there for sure. I mean, at least you did it. You know what I'm saying? At least you tried and shot for it. Maybe not being a book a month, but shit, a half a book every month. Shit, that's like I said, still more than a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know,
you're listening / reading in general.
Yeah, definitely something I wanted to get into, especially as a truck driver. Cause like if I'm driving up, and I can't listen to music and podcasts, so listen to some books.
Yeah, exactly, and I agree with that too. The mix up. Mm-hmm. So like, you already know my morning routine. I start with some Joel Osteen, and then I'll probably listen to like a TED Talk, and then I'll go to a book.
Yeah.
But then like right now, my problem is I got like 5 books I'm listening to right now. Yeah. So I just like, who am I feeling today, or what kind of lesson I want to learn today?
Yeah, I think I looked at the book that you said on one of the podcasts. Damn, I can't think of the name of it right now. I'm gonna try not to cuss because my wife said I was cussing too much. So I'm gonna try.
Fuck that.
I want to expand my vocabulary, so I'm gonna find some different words to cuss for us to use. She's like, you cuss a lot. It's like, you must not know who my mom and daddy is.
For real though.
You must not know my daddy's house. Right?
Yeah. Was it
the five, something about death or life.
I thought it was like the 5.
Oh, the 5 people you meet in heaven.
Yeah, there you go. That's why I need to download.
So because that's just, I don't know. That was just a beautiful book in its own right. Just seeing how the main character just kind of finds his resolution after death with believing a certain belief for so long throughout his life.
Yeah,
and you also get to see a glimpse that like people's souls and spirits are so different from what the face they put on the outside. Mm-hmm. And you know you can't discredit that. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's something powerful that you died saving somebody's life. I mean, whether that was at the end of your life or not, like, and you woke up with just wondering, did I save that person?
Yeah.
Or what you thought you would, or what you thought you did, only to find out that it meant something completely different at the end of the day.
Right.
So
that's deep. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, no, I'm adding that to my list for sure.
Yeah, I think I added this to my list. There's a couple books I got on there right now that I want to read or listen to.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I need to check it out. So, for my story is, I can't remember the name of the first book I read. Mm-hmm. It was low-key reminds me of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but it wasn't that one. Chronicles of Narnia. It was kind of like that type of book, but it wasn't Narnia. But I remember that's the first book I read, and I read that book twice, and that's only because I had reading logs.
Okay.
Did you give me that book? Like, was it like during like middle school, high school for you? You gave me that book?
I feel like I probably did.
Yeah.
There's a book. So one of the things in the book that always stood out for me was when the kids started their journey. It was 2 boys that had a magical bowl and a magical bottle. Mm-hmm. And in the bowl, they could say whatever food they wanted, and then it would just appear in the bowl. Oh, wow. So they can say about grandma's pancakes, and your grandma's pancakes will pop in the bowl, like this materialize. And then for your bottle, same thing, chocolate milk, and then the bottle would just fill up with chocolate milk. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing I remember about the book. And there's something about a big old wolf that was trying to eat everybody.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but I remember the cover of it.
Okay. Yeah, it was like boys and like a little wolf ducked off. Yeah. That's that cover. Okay. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the first book I read, and like I said, that wasn't like a leadership book or nothing. 100% just fantasy. Like I said, I had to read it for school.
Yeah, time for school.
Managing to let us cheat on no reading logs. we can't cheat on no reading logs, on no band practice logs, none of the logs. Anything that had to go home and practice, we had to do it. Mm-hmm. They made sure we did that. So That was the first book I truly read. But the first book that truly made an impact on me, though, was Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Mm-hmm. And that book was given to me by Triv, shout out T-Smack. He gave me that first book, and that was the first book that I read twice. The first time I read it, and the second time I read it for the mindset of I want all the quotes in this book. Mm-hmm. And literally, this is my transformation of mindset. I literally grabbed the book, I had my laptop open as I was reading it. Every time I read a good quote, I typed it out on my laptop. And then at some point, I literally went to Office Depot and printed out 20 pages of quotes, cut them all up in little segments of the paragraphs, and then put them all over my wall. Yeah. I actually have them in my suitcase still. Yeah, like when I was at Tierra House, and I just put them all over my wall, so at any point I can look up and just read a quote about something about life to help me out.
Right.
So that's what I've been loving about it.
I realized I didn't say when I started too. It was back in elementary school. I was just reading some shit from like the library, like I was learning about parasites or dogs or something like that, just like scientific or just simple knowledge books. Yeah. The first time I really got into like reading was in middle school with the Percy Jackson series. Okay. That was a good series. Like all 5 books were great, and then I started reading the Red Pyramid, and then I think it was I just kind of fell off, maybe because I was getting near the end of 8th grade, and then going into high school, so my social life is just and then same as you, because you just passed it down to me when I moved back from Reno. The one that like really stuck with me was Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, because I found the free audio version, but it also had the words on YouTube. And I'm just sitting in my room on a chair in front of the TV just reading. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Yeah.
That's the first book I read this year. I called you like, what's the name of that book? That was literally the first book I read this year.
Beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it makes you think like life sometimes isn't what it's made to be. So the devil will try to get you.
Yeah. I think what got me the most in that book, like one of the things that stood out to me was the idea of whatever's been happening has been happening for a while. Yeah. And it's just not changing. Like the idea, he talks about the school system. What the book was written in 1938. And didn't get released until 2004. You know, and things he was talking about in 1938 with the school system.
It's literally still going today.
It's still going today. Or shit. It was one part in there he was talking about how people can get rich. And he was like, somebody can figure out how to make it so when you pump gas and you buy groceries at the same time, that guy's gonna blow up. And then who knows how long after this book was written, but not published, but just written, that gas stations opened up. And now you have Stop and Shops, Quick, 7-Eleven, corner stores, you know what I'm saying? And then years later, he already wrote about this in his book, saying this would be a great idea for somebody to jump on it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And he had like multiple things in there that was like, that persists to right now.
Yeah. You know? It's weird because I think it was literally yesterday when we was driving. Was we driving home? We was driving somewhere and we was telling the kids like, yo, like majority of the stuff that they teach you in school, you're not gonna use at your job. Yeah. She was like, you know, the X times this, and I was like, do you use that at your job right now, babe? She's like, no, I don't. They just teach kids the basic stuff, teach them how to build their credit, because that's what you're gonna need after life. Teach you how to be financial. Save up money, stuff that you're actually gonna apply in life. Because she's like, half that stuff, and just teach kids the basic ABCs and how to read. Like all that other stuff. Because my daughter's like, I'm going to college far away. I'm like, you can go to college far away for what? Like, you just want to be far away just to come back? Because I'm going to come back and live with you guys. And like, no. You go UNLV, and we can teach you the things that we've learned in life and messed us up and how we fixed it. And you can go from there, or you can live your life how you want to live. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. I can only give you some advice, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to take the advice or not take the advice.
Right, and I think that book said that too in there. You know, talking about like it'll be a lot better for if the elders would actually teach the kids the way they're supposed to, but they push off to the schools the responsibility of you train my kid. Yeah, and then that's why it's like half the kids are fucked up the way they are because we're forced stuff down our throat that we're never going to need. Or, you know, at the end of the day.
It's very niche.
Yeah. Like, I always think school is just, like you said, it's just, you know, it's there to weed out the doctors and the nurses and shit, the people that actually want to go to school, and then everybody else, you just trained for a job, pretty much, to be able to follow orders, listen to the bell when the bell goes off, and take your 30 minutes lunch like you're told to and not break the law, and you break the law or break the rules of the school, then you get in trouble.
And I feel even then it doesn't even prepare you for that. Because it's just, I don't know, like I said, this type of shit that you kind of learn for, like, let's say algebra or something like that, right? So niche. The only reason I feel like if I actually completed my degree in computer engineering and stuff, I would have used that stuff because it would have made sense just for how the computer works. Yeah. If you have a variable that you don't know and you have all this stuff to figure it out, then that's how you're gonna use it. But other than that, like, I'm looking up and seeing some random videos about, most of the time these computer engineers are just looking at these forums. You can borrow code. There's an online open source for all this code. It's crazy. If you really want to understand it, then yeah, that's when the calculus and stuff comes in because it makes it easier, but you don't need to. And then half the time, if you're gonna learn it, they're just gonna fucking teach you on the job.
Yeah, so it's called on-the-job training. Yeah, it's literally right there. It's on page 1 when you start the job.
Yeah. Or look, my coworker, she was, she was in there doing customer service, and she was like, "Oh yeah, the dude from IT is training me in coding right now." Yeah, and they're just working on the side. And I'm like, that's the best teacher, is find you a solid mentor just to teach you right now.
That's been in the field.
Yeah, that's been in the field. Then go waste 4 years paying somebody that's gonna teach you a little bit here, a little bit there, but never give you no true practical application of it. Yeah. Besides, a project or, we played this game in college called New Shoes, where you ran a shoe company. But at the same time, like I said, it was just punching numbers in the computer and press and run to see what happens.
So a funny thing to kind of bring it back to like the book and like the nature of the book, we're outwitting the devil, it's an interview with the devil, right? And if we're going to take it to how the school just implements all of this, this unnecessary knowledge, but place so much importance on it, the people that excel in those subjects have so much pride. What made the Satan fall? Pride. And then now you got all these people that went to go get their degrees, and I'm not saying that some of that shit isn't useful, but you think some people take it to the point where they think they're better than everybody else just because they got this. But sometimes, like, some of the richest people fucking didn't go to school. They just figured out they're engineers without the degree. They figured out how to make some shit work, took an opportunity and made it blow up due to their dedication.
Right. Not to make it sound bad, but I didn't even graduate high school.
Oh, really?
And it's been jobs where people find out like, you didn't graduate. I mean, not to make it, I need 1 credit to graduate. I ain't dumb. Don't get it twisted. I literally need 1 credit to graduate.
Marvin's out partying.
No, I didn't go to class, man. I started making money, shooting dice. Right. But at the end of the day, like, just because you don't graduate don't mean you're dumb. Like, most billionaires probably didn't graduate fucking high school. So, I mean, and for me, school kind of got boring because you can't teach everyone the same way. Yeah. You literally can't put 30 kids in the classroom and say, all right, I'm going to teach all 30 of y'all the same. Read this one book the same goddamn way. Yeah. You can't, because some people like me, like I said, I'm hands-on. Some people are hands-on. Some people can think like, oh yeah, let me build this in my mind, I can write it down. Right. So you can't teach everyone the same way. And not to make it sound bad, but the career that I'm in now, I'm going to make some pretty good money. And I literally just have to go to school for that. Like, they didn't actually see my high school diploma.
3 months.
No, 1 month.
1 month. Oh, wow, you better.
Literally 30 days. And they didn't actually see no high school diploma. They just said, do you have a driver's license? Have you had any tickets? Any accidents? Yes, I have a driver's license. No tickets, no accidents. Come on, dude. Come on. And we're going to find you job placement too, where every job you're making is in between $80,000 to $100,000+ a year. So, I mean, not to make it sound bad, but I didn't, for me, personally, I didn't need it. Still don't need it.
And I think you're a great breed because, I'm thinking about the people that, they didn't graduate. And they took this mindset of, I can't do nothing now because I ain't got no diploma. And they literally out there sleeping on the corners and stuff because they just gave up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not smart because I didn't graduate high school. Or, I've always been dumb in class, so I can't be this.
I've literally only had 1 job actually see my high school diploma. And I think that job was paying like $10 an hour. They're like, do you have your diploma on you? I was like, no. Yeah, we need it. All right, and this is for a second job. Like, I already got a job. All right, I can't do it. Guess find somebody else. I'll be all right.
I feel that.
I mean, if you don't take the mindset of giving up and becoming a drifter, which I kind of want to come back to that topic in general. But like, just in my case, I worked at Domino's. I went to college for a little bit. The only time that anything kind of came into fruition for like from the public education was when I started working at NXIII. I started working at Domino's, did a double job with Aldo, switched to nutrition, was a stalker. They taught me how to read nutrition levels or nutrition labels and recommend it to people in terms of like sport nutrition and stuff like that. Learned that. Then I switched to being a dispatcher with data entry. And then I switched into the NXIII where having the math knowledge definitely helped, but now I'm working as a banker. And in some senses, some of the people that have, their bachelor's degree, I'm making more than them. So it's like, okay, well, it's just about the experience. Don't give up on, or don't believe and hardcore believe the fact that if you don't have some type of certification given to you by the public that you were supposed to do, that you can't do anything. You just gotta hustle in a sense, or at least just keep trudging along in a direction that you think you're going in.
Right, exactly. And then that actually made me bring up the thought of when you said the word drifting, and I want to touch on that before we go to the next question. But that's one thing that the book really brought out too, is the idea of drifting, of how people just drift through life. You know what I'm saying? You just float down the hill, and I think my best way, like when I hear drifting, I always think of a lake rolling down a hill or a river, and then you're just a log. You just a log, you know what I'm saying? You're just flowing, and whatever wall you bounce into, and it spins you around, but either way you just flow. You're
not in control of your life.
You're not in control of your life, and that concept always got I'm probably going off subject now, but that concept was always deep to me, because then when you go to Adam, he always talks about going with the flow and being the passenger driver's seat. And I guess I just now like learning to like put those together. I can go with the flow with a rudder on my ship. You know what I'm saying? Like I can float down the hill, I can float down the river, but I still have the rudder to direct myself, saying, okay, I want to stay straight though. You know what I'm saying? A lot
that's
of
a great way to put it. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, they just let their rudder go. They don't have a rudder, they just float. And it's like, nigga, build yourself a rudder. Like, yes, you got to flow with it still, but at the same time, you can I'm not hitting that rock, I'm going to avoid this rock. Then you can start getting to the points where you avoid stuff that you don't need to be bumping into no more.
You don't have to crash into the uncontrollable things of life. Or, you don't have to crash into the things that you are able to control.
The things you're able to avoid.
Like you can't control the landscape, but you can control where you are in the water.
Exactly. You can't control the weather, but you control what you say. You know what I'm saying? You can't control your boss tripping out, but you can try to react to it. You know what I'm saying?
But another thing about the drifting that caught me from the book is like how easy it is to drift. It's so audience, if you go listen to the book, and you'll just be surprised at how many simple things that the devil in this case just tells you. I did this for this reason, so people can drift and lose their motivation. They don't see the light. They can, they become under my control, just mindless things, not able to find their purpose, their definite of purpose.
TV, the radio at some point. And then it was funny because in the book, the narrator jumps in. It's like, he talking about TV and radio. Think about internet, social media, cell phones, all the other stuff that just came in 50 years after the book was written. 80 years after the book was written. So I think that right there was a beautiful concept.
Drifting and scrolling.
Drifting and scrolling is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So one of my next questions for you guys is then what makes a book good to you? Like, what has to happen throughout a book to make you say, like, gosh, some hiccups? What makes you happen to a book to make you want to be like, man, that's a good book. That was a good book. Or this is a good book as you're reading it type shit or listening.
The books I have read, it makes you think months after you read it. Like I said, even the Outwitting the Devil, I still think about some of the things from that book. And I read that, like I said, that was the first book I read this year. So I think for me, after now, that's what it is. Like, it makes you think about it. And some of the things that you either read or you heard on the book, how you apply it to your life. Like I said, don't be a drifter. Like, we all go through life. Like I said earlier, we all go through life. So at some point in time, we all do drift. It's just how you catch yourself. As long as you pull yourself back, like, all right, let me think about how to react to this drift. That wave hit real hard, all right, I'm gonna hit back harder, all right, you're gonna roll over. It's just all about how you react to it. So far for me, that's what it's been.
I like it.
I was gonna say the ease of applying it to your life at the moment, or even in the future, kind of like what you were saying.
Yeah.
So in the sense, and it doesn't even have to be like one of these self-help enlightening books too, like fantasy. Like these are stories, right? But I mean, one of the, I mean, even though it's not a book necessarily, it's you could say it's a manga, but like Dragon Ball Z, the art of just not giving up. Like, yeah, you're facing down this opponent that's staring you down in the face. They just killed off your whole team, but it's like, yo, I got, like, if nobody else can do it, I'm the only one. Like, I have to do it.
Right, and they blew up your planet.
Yeah. They already took everything you have, so like, why not give everything you have and do your best to try to defeat it, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, either that or die trying, but at least I did my damned, you know? Mm-hmm. So if you can take something and just apply it to your current situation and your future situations to the best that you can, and then also just the way it captivates you, like how the author speaks to you, like is it reader friendly?
Yeah.
Right. You know, like I kind of started reading the book you gave me from.
Few communicate.
Yeah, Everyone Communicates, Few Connect by John C. Maxwell.
He talks to you.
Yeah, he talks to me.
He talks to you the whole. He's like your best friend. Like he's holding your hand.
Yeah. And then it's like there's also like little
stories in there,
images and things on the side that's like little billboards that's taken from the excerpt, like
little notes you want to hold on to.
Yeah. It's like it telling you like here's the things that you should be keeping in mind from what I'm saying. Like me personally, for how long I've gotten into the book, I feel like he takes a little bit to kind of get where he's going, but
once he gets there,
it's beautiful. And then while he's getting there, the little things on the side, like quoting from the excerpts, it's like, oh, it keeps you on track. Okay, this is the point he got to, even though I didn't realize it, and now the big point's coming up, you know, and then it helps keep it in your mind anymore. Yeah, so
and I agree with that too. And I think both of you guys had like amazing topics. Like you said, what can I really take away from this book after I'm done reading it? You know, it taught me something new, or just easy practical stuff. And I think one of the things that just really gets me for the book is the voice that it's written in.
Yeah.
You know, like John Maxwell, the book you just put out was a perfect example. All of John Maxwell books are written like that. Like they're literally they feel like he's literally sitting there talking to you, telling the story. And I think what makes his Audible so much better is he's the one reading his own Audible books.
Yeah, his voice is kind of like a.
It's like a Godfather voice, right? Like it's like it's a powerful voice, but then you hear the jokes in there.
It's capturing, like it captures you.
It captures you, yeah. It holds you in, and it holds you together, makes you feel warm, and then he walks you down his aisle and explains what he was thinking at the time. Like you said you read in Intentional Living.
Yep.
The whole heart attack scene. You can picture him in the club dancing, neck getting sweaty, pass out. You can literally see his assistant run to the car, grab his thing of note cards, his Rolodex.
Yeah.
You can see him going to the first hospital. You ever been to this hospital? Let me tell you this. The only time you go to this hospital is you've been shot or stabbed. You know what I'm saying? This is not for a heart attack. Like he makes it like breaks it down. Like it's like a little joke in there at times.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, he is smooth with it, you know? And it's just, it breaks down so much. And I said all that just to be what I'm saying though. To pretty much say, do you have anybody that you need to apologize to that you've been holding on grudges to? You know what I'm saying? When I was on my deathbed, I had nobody I felt that I need to call and say, sorry, you know, I messed our life up.
Yeah.
And that was just like a good statement. I was like, oh wow, I really felt it now. I really feel where you're coming from. Like, so yeah, I think I like that connection that they give. One book I think Dominic got me is Unfuck Yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or it's another one's talking Stop Doing That Shit.
Yeah, stop doing that shit and how unfuck yourself.
Yeah.
I think Paris had we was helping her move. I think she had a book. I know it had a cuss word on the front cover of it, but I'm not sure what.
Badass.
Nah, it was something with fucking. I think it might have been Unfuck Yourself or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to ask her about that book, but I never. It totally slipped my mind.
So like that book right there is beautiful because the dude is like literally like talking to you throughout the book. He's giving stories and he, you know, oh you do. Nobody gives a shit, and it feels like, oh wow, you're right. Nobody does give a shit about that. You know, I'm saying why nobody gives a shit, and he'll break it down. You know, I feel why you mean don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But then yeah, so I really just love like you said the voice they give it in. One of my favorite books is not it could be a leadership book. It has a great message, like you said. If I can read something that's fantasy and still gives me knowledge, it's something good. So one of my favorite books is called The Napoleon of Notting Hill. Yeah, so this story right here is an amazing story about a utopia in Europe where, you know, the government is different, their officials aren't elected, they're selected by random drawing. So literally you have a hat or you have a jar full of paper, shake it up, all right, John's our new king. And then they just go find where this nigga at and say, hey John,
like
you've been picked. But then it's like, so like to make this story funny is the king they picked this time around, he's a jokester. He doesn't take shit seriously. So when he becomes king, he's like, oh, I'm gonna have fun with this shit. So he makes the people, you know, originally, you know, they come in, you know, oh yeah, we have king meeting, we're gonna walk up and say what's up to the king. No, you wanna come talk to me? Y'all have to come through with these immaculate outfits and, you know, make it look like it's real 18th century and they have, my lord, they have to talk like that and shit. And then people are mad, like, why the fuck are we? And so it's like the whole, it's a funny ass book. But then the concepts you get out of it is pretty deep because he thinks it's a joke, but then he runs to a little kid who's like, oh my God, it's a king. And he's playing with the king, but then this little kid grows up to think that the king jokes are how life should actually be. Yeah. So his whole mindset is now like, it's like you understand where he's coming from, his loyalty and stuff, but then at the same time is delusional. Yeah. Because he's thinking the stuff the king did was true and honorable and this was, and not knowing that the king was doing it for laughs. Yeah. He was doing it to get a chuckle. You know? It's so crazy. It's an amazing book though. Like it's moments, time of the book, you be like, what the fuck is the king doing? What the fuck is this kid doing? But they just talking trash and it's an amazing book.
I mean, shit, that sound like some of our presidents we had. They be like, I don't get into that stuff like that, but sometimes you be watching on the news like, what the fuck was he thinking? Yeah. Like, what?
And you know what? You know what, bro? That's exactly what it reminds me of. You know what I'm saying? Like the king say something wild, and then everybody take that shit like it's fucking, it's gospel. Yeah. Like it's the word of God, and then they all run with it. Yeah. And then it's like ugh. Yeah. He just fucked everything up, you know? Yeah. And that was like, so that's what made this book real, because it's like this kid is literally having thousands of people die over one street because this street is the street of all streets. Yeah. It's like everybody else wants you to sell it, but this one kid don't want to sell it, so he's just fighting for his life now. But he's winning all the fights because his mindset is so imaginary. So he's like, oh, they're gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, and everybody. So he's like unorthodox, which is good for him, but then his unorthodox is his downfall, making it bad for him. But yeah, man. So I love that though. I think that right there is really good though about books. Really, what I can get out of it. How can I apply it to my life? And then like the story, does it take me on that fantasy, or does it really connect with me on another level? You know. So I agree with that. So my another question I want to ask everybody is how do you find the books? Like, how do you guys find your book suggestions? What do you guys do to get book suggestions?
I'll let you go first.
Word of mouth. Word of mouth. Word of mouth. At this point, word of mouth because, well, I don't know. A little bit. It's word of mouth, but then it kind of, once you get to a certain point, you kind of start to explore on your own. Yeah. Like, probably a month ago, because my therapist recommended a book for me to read. So I went to go pick it up, and I went to a Barnes & Noble. I walked in that store, I'm like, yo, this store is hella cool. Like, that's where I found the Black of the Berry, or the Pimp a Butterfly album. Like, the actual album.
You get the vinyls.
The vinyl,
Oh, that's great. That is so great. I literally told my wife to give me a fucking, I'm sorry, excuse my language, I'm trying to cuss, but like a vinyl player, because I want to start collecting vinyls.
Same, yeah.
I literally told her to give me that for Father's Day. She was like, I seen one at Target like $60, like $60. They ain't $60. Like, I seen one for $60. Like, must have been on sale, because look, this one here $200, this one $300. It's like, oh, well, you know what I want for Father's Day. All right. Because I literally seen To Pimp a Butterfly, sorry, we off track.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Good Kid, Mad City.
There was two of them. I didn't pick it up, but just because like To Pimp a Butterfly was like that was my album from Kendrick. Yeah. Once I picked it up, I couldn't put it down, so I was like, you know what, fuck it.
It's because we was Mother's Day shopping. They had the Beyonce with her new album, and my daughter's like, "Oh, she got this for us." Like, we don't got a vinyl player yet, but she's like, "We're still getting it for her." I was like, "Man, no, she don't want that. She told us what she want. We gonna get it. Cause I'm known now to get her what she want. We gonna get her what she want. And she gonna be happy because why? Because that's what she wants.
Yeah, exactly what she asked for.
But that is like life is so crazy. Like that is so crazy. Cause like I really want to start collecting vinyls. Cause I like to make it sound weird, but. Get back on subject. Like I said, word of mouth, and for me, it's kind of like the cover. Yeah. Like I look at the cover and the stars. That's how I've been basically picking my books. But word of mouth, I'm Adrian. Adrian, like I said, the one you said on the podcast, I've asked people on social media. I've seen like, hey, what's a couple good books? I got something I want to do this year, and they were like, yeah, this one's good. My father read this one or this and that. So basically, word of mouth. Yeah. All right, I know. Sorry to cut you off. On Instagram, they had a thing. Top 10 books you should read. Or top 10 books man should read. Yeah, that. And like I screenshotted like top 10 books or top 20 books to read too. Because that's what like I wanted to do this year. Like so when I seen that, I'll screenshot it. Yeah. And so basically like that. That's how I've been picking my books so far.
Yeah. And that kind of led into my next thing because I was just browsing just to see what they had, and some of the titles caught my attention, and then looked into the book or looked at the cover and then looked at the book. It was like just a couple pages skimming through, and I was like, I'm gonna take the time to read this, and I think it just kind of explodes from there. It's kind of like music in a sense. I mean, it's a book is a conveying language, right? But then music is its own language too. So how do you get into other music? Well, you take recommendations, you get it from your childhood, from what your family and those peers around you said, and then you start exploring on your own, and then it just kind of branches out from there.
Right. So no, I fully agree with both you guys said. I get a lot of recommendations from like the audios I listen to. I listen to a lot of TED Talks. Sometimes they recommend one. A lot of my older books that I go back in the past to go get is because I'm listening to like an older audio. Like it's just one book I have over here. I hit my shin, that hurt. This book right here, The Sin of Man by Henry Drummond. Yeah, Drummond. There you go. Yeah, so this book, I was listening to Earl Nightingale, and he was talking about the Sin of Man, and he read like a little passage from it, which was deep. But then that book right there is just hard as hell to read because it's written back in. Let me look at the date for you. Oh shit! What's the copyright date, right?
I think so.
That's not right. It says copyright 2007, but this book is way older than that. Oh,
established or something.
1894. He's quoting shit from 1894 in this book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's real. It's a lot of the Son of Man descends to the ins and outs, and it's like a lot of like they just using multiple words. It's like, man, you could use a simpler word to describe this. But
but that's their language.
That's their language.
That's how you explain shit.
Yeah, ain't want no sugarcoating shit. Ain't no. I'm still finding an easier way to say this. Like, no, you just said it straight up. But same thing. I do the same thing. I listen to audios. Sometimes same thing. I go to Barnes and Noble, and I kind of. Y'all gonna laugh at me. I treat it like a video game sometimes. So sometimes I go through and there's a lot of books there, but I kind of wait until to see what book catches my eye. Yeah. Because usually there's always something that just, for some reason, shines a little different or it just pokes out a little different. That's usually the one that I grab it. And I'm like, this is probably the one I need right now for some reason. Like this one book I got was, I don't know what it's at, but it's like a Buddha book. And it's like, this talks about like the basics, teachings of Buddha. And I got that at the library. When they do like the used book sales, it's like $2, $3. And I just got it from there at the Aliante library actually. And then also same scrolling. That's how I found the Napoleon Notting Hill book. So I learned that on Audible. This right here's a life hack for you guys about to listen. On Audible, they have a lot of free books that you can download without a credit. Yeah. As long as you're paying your membership, you can just download these books and just play them whenever you want to, and they don't use your credit. They don't cost you anything. Napoleon Hill has a lot of books like that. Earl Nightingale has a lot of books like that. And I was searching up Napoleon Hill, and then I found Napoleon of Notting Hill, and I was like, let's download it. And then I started playing it, thinking it was like, it's gonna be Napoleon, and then it turned out to be a story. But then I started getting lost in the story, and I was like, Okay, this is a good book. Next time I'm over here in tears laughing at this nigga. At the fucking king talking about there's a war outside, but I don't see no press. You know what? I'm gonna be the press. So he go run down to the press and he starts making his own posters, trying to come up with lines and shit. Yeah. War, not blood. No, that sucks. Kill. You know, he's like making up lines, and they literally, once he makes it up, he goes to the printer guy. He's like, I demand you print 1,000 pages of these and go post them around the city. No, just print the pages. I'll post them now. The king's running around the city posting shit for the war that's about to happen, so he can know the town knows about it. And it's like funny. It's like, what the fuck is happening in this book? Yeah. But yeah, it was just like deep though. But yeah, I fully agree. The word of mouth, recommendations, randomly scrolling, you know, reading the back of the book. Yeah. You know, shit. Now you have Audible. You got the features where you can listen like 30-second snippets of it and shit like that. Yeah. So I think that's always a good thing too. So my last question for everybody is, and you know, we talked about books this whole time. What is one book you would recommend for the audience to read?
The only book I've read twice was Intentional Living.
John Maxwell.
I got that from Adrian.
Yes.
It's a really good book, especially because, you know, just trying to find your purpose in life. It makes you it gives you, well, it makes you ask a lot of personal questions to yourself. Like, did I do this right? Yes. How did I do this? Should I have reacted this way? Did I go too hard with my reaction? And, you know, how do I want to live my life going forward? And like that would be a book I would say, because like I said, it makes you ask yourself a lot of questions. Like, you know, what is my purpose? Why am I here? That's a really good book so far. I don't know. And I haven't got to the point yet to where I'm like how you said, you know, you read a book, then you stop and write down this quote. I wanted to do that for the second. That's why I read it twice. I wanted to write down quotes, but I just found myself just listening to him again. Like, okay, just trying to make sure that my life can go good.
Yeah, no, and I fully agree. I haven't got to the point where I have calmed down on like truly writing, but what I usually do now is like, you know, look at my computer screen over there. I got sticky notes on my shit. Yeah. So literally, I'll write the book, and then I'll hear a quote. I'm like, oh, boom, let me write this quote down real quick. Yeah. Now just write down I'll pause it, write on my sticky note real quick, put it on my computer screen, and keep rolling. But yes, Intentional Living by John Maxwell, amazing listen. And just like how you said, he made you think. But I think what did that so good was throughout the book, he was asking himself these questions. Yeah. And then answering for them, or giving you a story to answer them, you know.
Okay, to kind of side note, go back to like an old question that we had, like what makes it like interesting to read. It's how personable the author gets. Yeah. Because like if you feel like it's more, if you feel like he's more human as opposed to somebody just spouting you something, then it's way more easier to get involved with it, because it's like he's also human too. Like, yeah, you read the book and be like, wow, that was an amazing book. Like, I'm glad that he wrote that, but it also makes you realize he's human just as much as I am.
He's human just like you, went through the same shit you went through. You know, of course, different path, but a lot of things are similar. Yes, I truly agree with that.
But I would say for me that I recommend, I won't do it again, what was it, the 5 People You Meet in Heaven, but The Alchemist. Okay. I really like The Alchemist just because of the story it took you along. The character was kind of relatable, the main character, and then it was just as he's going through these journeys and kind of getting reminded, and it also kind of incorporated some of the ideas, and like from my comparison and association, from Outwitting the Devil. In some senses, he drifted, and he almost drifted way out of his personal legend.
Right. He was stuck at the jewelry store.
Yeah, he was stuck at the jewelry store for a minute, but that's what he needed to do at the moment. So did he drifted, but did he really drift? Like, did he have the rudder, or was he just the log? But that's what you had questioning him, or that's what you were questioning of him. And then he found his way out, and then just how all the little things came at the right time to get him back on his path. Like when I forgot the rock's name. I remember one. It was like Dumim, and he was
Dumim and Thumim. Dumim and Thumim, or something like that.
Something like that. But like it fell out of his pocket at the time when he was about to give up, and he was like, "Oh, sign. Okay, it's a omen." Yeah, and just and I don't even think of the book like constantly like that, but there's points where something happens in my life, and I'm just like,
it relates back to the book.
That's an omen. All right, let me get on my path, or let me continue where I'm going in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
And then just the fact that for the ending of the book, it wasn't what he expected necessarily at all. And if anything, he low-key kind of got like a worse end of the stick for a second. Mm-hmm. But it all came together. But my thing that I took from that was just, let me fall in, I knew the moral, but like, fall in love with the journey of life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Make sure you have a direction. Make sure you have a definite purpose. Mm-hmm. Not something from Outwitting the Devil, but just make sure you take the time to enjoy the life. Sometimes it slows down. Well, enjoy that slowdown. What is it trying to have you slow down for? What are you gonna make it mean?
Yeah.
And then when it's time to go, it's time to go. Right. And it's okay either way, even when you're bleeding.
We all got to go. Yeah. That's the only thing we all got in common is we all got to go.
Yeah. Go forward. We gotta pass on. We gotta go. We gotta move.
We gotta move.
Don't get stuck.
I agree. So, like, The Alchemist is one of my favorite books as well.
I'll have to read that one this year.
Yeah. I think you'll love it too because it's a short book. It's
4 hours.
4 hours long, but it's literally on 2 chapters on Audiobook. It's chapter 1 and part 2.
Okay.
But it's literally a beautiful story from start to finish. It has a lot of mystery in it. It has. Like, it's just one scene I'm sitting here like, was that really God? Was that Jesus? I don't know who this guy was.
I remember I texted
you said
about it.
Mind you, you sent it to me, but I looked that up multiple times trying to figure out who this guy is. The king of some country.
Yeah, it was something. It started with something with an M. It's like meta something.
Something, yeah. But like, you just know what. Like, his character was in the book. He had a big part of it. Well, semi-big part of it. His character made a big impact, but then you don't really get the point of who is this guy though.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of seemed like, because it low-key seemed like, I'm not gonna spoil too much. Fuck it, I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna let y'all read the book. Check out The Alchemist. Wonderful book, easy read, pure read. I love it because it has your godly stuff in there. It throws in all the religions together, and it's like, it's not focused on religion, it's focused on life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think my favorite part about that book was your treasure is closer than you actually think it is. Mm-hmm. You know, because this guy went all the way around the world to go find his treasure, and it was somewhere he already been.
Oh, one of my favorite quotes that I have been catching myself using like on a weekly or daily basis. Mm-hmm. If it happens once, it won't happen again. If it happens twice, it will happen the third time.
Yep. I've been working on that quote too.
Yeah.
I've worked on that quote too. I love that quote. I think that was a favorite quote.
It's weird because when I was like thought about reading books, I love music, so I was like, it's like an album. I'm sure it's like some albums you can listen to 2, 3, 4, 5 times and not get bored of, because every time you hear that person rap, you're not gonna catch everything.
Right.
So each time you listen to it, you catch
something new.
Either you catch something new, or you made some time might go by and you might learn something new and go back and listen to it, and that person might have said it. Because my favorite rapper is Jay-Z, so sometimes I go back into his old albums, and like after I had a kid, like I didn't know it was called when the baby feet come out first, called breech birth. So he's like, I came out with my shoes like a kid born in breech birth. I didn't know what the hell breech birth was until I had it. So it's like some shit you go back, excuse my language, some stuff you go back and listen to it again and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So for intentional living, like I said, when I was listening to it again, he was saying like a lot of deep stuff. I was like, okay, that's what that means. So that's when like, don't get stuck doing this, or what's your purpose for here? Who can you help out? Why are you here? And my biggest thing I take away is what are people gonna say at your funeral?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, was you a noble man? Was F him, he owed me money, this, that.
Yeah.
So
are people gonna show up in the first place?
Yeah, that too.
I think that was something deep in there he took out too. John Maxwell went off in that book.
Yeah,
Living was amazing.
But he dropped some bars in that book.
He dropped some major bars, some major thing. Like, so one of my favorite things I always take from him in general, he said, you want to know how you find your purpose? What makes you laugh? What makes you cry? And what do you dream about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you can figure out those 3 things, you can figure out where you need to go with your purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, I love it. So, I'm going to share 2 books. The first one is one of the free books I was telling you guys about. That, like I say, if you have the Audible account, which you can sign up with the link at the beginning of the episode. And this is a book you can just download at any moment in time. You don't have to pay for it. It's called The Direct Line by Earl Nightingale. And this book right here, yes, it's like 15 hours long, but it's not a true book. It's actually a collection of audibles that Earl Nightingale put out during his time. And it's probably like 30 or so chapters, but literally he just, for 30 minutes, he just speaks game on some type of subject. And it's so many, oh my gosh, it's like mind blowing. He'll ask questions in there to make you, he asks questions that you can want to ask yourself, you can grade yourself on. He uses a lot of metaphors, he uses a lot of stories to explain a point. Like, yeah, it's so deep. Like he was talking about, one of my favorite things he said was, he was driving down the street one day, and then he saw, you know, he's old school. He called it an earth mover. Pretty much, he saw a big ass dump truck driving, and he sees a dump truck driving, and it's this huge, tires big as the car. But then he looks up to the driver's seat, and he sees a little itty bitty person driving the car, and he was like, that's how our minds work. We have this little bitty mind driving this big old body. But if our mind go off course, shit, we flipping the whole car. We gonna crash and hurt other people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or yeah, he does a lot of metaphors like that. You know, so I highly recommend this. I suggest when you listen to this book, listen to one chapter a day, because like I said, it can get pretty thick. His voice is kind of monotone, so he can be. You know, Jessica said she put him to sleep. I love this man. He keeps me up, but because he's so deep. But like, so his voice is kind of monotone. So I suggest listen to him when you wake up or something like that, when you have the energy, not like when you're tired. But a very deep book. And then the next,
I want to take a quick note.
Yes.
It's not free anymore, but you can get it for free if you use our code. Just keep some.
Oh yeah, you use our free credit. Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
And then you can use your free credits to get that.
Yeah,
so
I promise you. And this is a book that you're gonna come back over and over and over. Like random times, I just want to hear a message from a little 30-minute message. You know, and I can just go pick a random chapter if I wanted to. Sometimes his chapters go together. Where he'll talk about. Well, last week we talked about this, so we're gonna talk about this now. But majority of the time, though, every new chapter is a new book, and it's like. It's like your 30-minute wake up to make you think for the day. That's how I treat it. Like it's my little vitamin for the day of, okay, this is a new thought for the day. And I have so many quotes written down from this book alone. Like I can't even find the notebooks with the rest. The second book I want to read is a book that I'm actually on the last chapter today. I'm going to finish it tomorrow. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Yeah, so this book is, this one has been really interesting for me. Because there are certain aspects of the book that I feel are... So certain aspects of the book, or like just the way the book is explained, it's kind of like if you want to have power, you have to follow these laws. And then, you know, so like me, I'm a person where I don't seek power, you know? But then when he goes to the book and starts explaining the laws, you start to understand that this is like for everything. This is for manipulation. This is for seductions. This is for, you know, being a superior, you know, being a subordinate, being a superior. Like he pretty much like talks about how you can sell stuff, you know, and he uses real life stories to explain it all. So like literally he talks about, like one of his chapters is don't let your target know what you're actually after. And then the story he uses is a young prince or a young, courter trying to get this girl, but he doesn't know how to get her. So he goes talk to this one dude that's called the neighborhood player. And the player is like, okay, this is what you have to do to get the girl. Follow my steps and you'll get her right. And then the dude's following his steps, you know, and he's doing it player style. He's, hey, what's up, Stacy? Nice to see you. All right, I'm gone. Not sitting there talking to her, saying you look good and all that stuff, making her want him. And then, but then he always gives you an example of how the rule works and when somebody uses the rule wrong. This one, the guy used the rule wrong because at the end he says, he's talking to the girl, he finally gets her alone, and when he gets her alone, he says, I fucking love you, Brittany. And then she's like, oh, you actually like me. I thought I was chasing you, but you've been trying to get me this whole time. I don't like you like that no more. And y'all, we all males, we know how that shit work. You chase the girl and she don't want you, but when you chasing her, she don't care about you at all. But when you stop chasing that, like you don't care, that's when she all over you. You know, and he uses like examples like that throughout the whole story, and then he uses it's examples throughout the whole book. He describes the law, explains it, and then he'll give you real life stories to show how the law is applied, how the law doesn't work, reversals of the law. So only use this law in this situation, or sometimes he literally said there is no reversal to this law. If you a subordinate, you need to shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? He'll literally do stuff like that, like, and then he'll use freaking urban legends, he'll use myths, he'll use the Bible, he'll use quotes, ancient Chinese secrets, whatever, to make sure you explain this one law in this chapter. You know, and it's really, really deep. It's one of those, like I said, listening to it, I had a hard time because it's like, I feel that's so mean, that's so manipulative. But then there's other times in there that is like, you're right, don't give up my whole idea. You know what I'm saying? Or don't show out this side or something like that. That's like, okay, I can learn to apply this. I need to learn how to apply this because that part would give me more power in the stage I feel like I don't have power. Yeah. So, yeah, really cool. Really, really good book. Really good book. Like this one dude, it was, I'm going to close after this. This one story, this guy was, he was like an army general, and everybody knew him for this one reason of he was being, not shiesty, but he was real creative, pretty much. So one day, this army, you know, they gather together at night, and they go walk upon this man's castle to take his castle over. But, you know, of course, all these people know he's a creative guy. He's always a step ahead, right? This dude's outside, sitting on top of his castle, you know, playing with his flute or whatever he's doing, cleaning his trumpet, whatever the hell he's doing. And then he sees the armies coming, and his people downstairs see him coming too. They're like, my lord, what do you want us to do? He's like, do nothing. Don't do shit. Go to sleep. Go eat. Do whatever you want to do. Don't fight though. So then this army walks up to the guy, see the guy sitting on top of the castle, and then the army stops. Like, hold on. Something ain't right. Something ain't right. Yeah. It's a trick. Everybody retreat. And the whole army retreated. And the guy literally had no plan, no nothing, but he held his composure to the point of don't show your fear, don't show this or something like that. And he scared a whole army away just by the thought of his name of being a deceiver, trickster, you know, ultimate general scared his whole army away because he sat there calmly. And they was thinking he's too calm. He must have a plan. He already know we're here. Let's get the fuck out of here. Yeah, it's so deep. It's stories like that that's just like.
And just from that, I can kind of relate it to when I was playing Dragon Ball Z Fighters heavy, right? And just playing online, and you know, I already know I have the power, like to do it. Like I'm probably better than this dude just from like the first couple instances of the first match, right? So if I get him in a position to where he's gonna probably throw out his ultimate level 3 invincible nothing, I'm gonna run up and just stop and block and just watch him. And then sometimes they get up from the ground and like wait for me to do something, and then they just throw it out, and I just sit and block. Oh, punish, done.
Yeah. Nah, bro, and that's real, and that's how he uses stories like that to explain how to win. Like he uses that with a whole chess match. Like he talks about how this dude beat this other guy in a chess match just by being a mind game ahead. He usually shows up on time. He decided to show up early, show up late. And then he started fucking with people's minds. He's like, he's never late. What the fuck is he doing? Yeah. And then all of a sudden he shows up late and he has one bad game. And they're like, oh my God, he's off his game. We're going to knock him off. And then he slaughters everybody because he was just fucking with you.
Right.
You know, but like chapters. Keep your hand clean. Recreate yourself. Play the perfect courtier. You know, make your accomplishments seem effortless. Don't rub in their face. You know how much I did to get this? Make it seem, it was nothing. Yeah. Make it seem like it was relaxed. Because if you rub in their face, people gonna, he cocky, he big-headed, he think he the shit. Nah, make it seem like it was nothing, so people would be like, I don't know. You know, whatever the hell the mind game is. It's amazing, though. Like, I can't wait for the final chapter. This is one of the books I listen to every day so far, like last 48 days.
Yeah, I think it's like it takes 24 hours.
Yeah, it's a long book, but the chapters are all smooth. They all have amazing stories. A lot of stories are gonna make you laugh. Like he uses stories about people hustling people or how people did what they had to do to get people to come into their restaurants and shit. So it's an amazing story. I highly suggest it. 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Okay. Yes. But yeah, fellas, I think that was a great conversation on books today. I guess, you know, I already know my last two questions is where you still swimming to when it comes to, you know, your book knowledge or your book life?
I just want to dive more into it. I want to pick it up as a habit as much as I did for the gym.
Yeah.
And just start that journey, you know. Just another outlet of peace of mind when I don't want to scroll on my phone or just like sit there, you know, just something I want to look forward to. Right. Like, because I look forward to the gym, even though I kind of don't. But
so
like,
you don't want to feel dreading though.
Yeah, I don't want to dread it. You know, I want to. You know, this is what was planned to happen, and I'm going to do that regardless of how I feel. Yeah. Basic part of life.
I feel that.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. I don't want it to be like something I don't look forward to. Something like, you know, you look forward to eating your favorite meal, watching your favorite TV show. So I want to look forward to reading a book or listening to a book, especially because it's not new, but it is new to me. Like I said, I'm reading is boring. And I kind of want to change that because I'm sure there's millions and millions of books out there that I'm sure can give me a lot more knowledge.
Yeah, knowledge stimulation.
Yeah, like I said, I love music, and so far the books I read this year, the 3 books I read. The other book I read this year was Rick Ross's Hurricane. That's a pretty good book. Okay. Kind of after I listened to it, like he knew he was gonna be a rapper. Kind of like he had that not that fruition, but that was his purpose. He listened to music growing up and all this stuff. So just like that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. I really like how Donna said I want to make it so it's not a burden. It feels like more natural to me because I can do the audiobooks in the morning. That's easy for me, definitely during work time or when I'm moving my hands or whatever. Yeah. But I need to actually get back down to sitting down with a book and a highlighter. And, you know, as I'm reading the book, highlighting and quoting quotes, I see our interest. But the book I gave you, I'm sure you see the highlights in there.
I haven't gotten that far into it. Like I was saying, I've probably only read
you know what?
10 pages.
I ain't gonna lie. I think somebody lost my original, got me a new one. So it could have been that too.
Yeah, because it doesn't look like it was marked at all.
Yeah, so that's probably a new version of it. But yeah, I just want to get back to really just breaking down the book to another level and actually just absorbing it better. You know, I feel like my audiobooks is really taking over, which is good still. I'm still getting knowledge, but something's different from when you actually sit down, make sure it's silent, and that's all you're doing for the next 15, 30 minutes, just flipping through the pages.
Like a physical page.
A physical page, yes, exactly.
Yeah, I haven't got there yet. Hopefully I can get there.
It's a slow journey, but like, I mean, shoot, 1 page at a time on some shit.
Yeah. Or shit, like you said, it's the book you start off with, you know, like you said, I remember the true first book I couldn't put down was Out with the Devil, because it starts off with his story of him fucking mafia trying to kill him, and you know what I'm saying, him going broke and getting rich and going broke and getting rich. And, you know what I'm saying, fuck it, I'm gonna go walk around this park and I'm gonna keep walking until I figure out what the fuck I'm doing in my life. You know, like stuff like that just makes you like, damn, what's about to happen next? You know, what's going on next? What's the devil about to drop now? You know. Yeah. So yeah, I agree with that for sure. Does anybody have a quote on books they'd like to share?
I'm gonna just go with the one I said earlier. If it happens one time, it won't happen again. It will never happen again. If it happens twice, it will definitely happen a third time.
Love it.
From
Out with the Devil.
No.
Or Alchemist.
Alchemist, thank you.
Yes.
I can't think of it. I know Johnson Maxwell said something, but I can't really think of it. Something on the line of let your mind be a river, not a
reservoir.
Not a reservoir.
Yeah, so let it flow, let the knowledge flow, don't let it just sit there. And I think he always shares that with the point of, because his story, he was a church leader, and he didn't want to share his plans on how his church was growing so fast. So he took everything that he's been doing and holding it. Yeah. But then he was like, the second I actually started to share my ideas with the church community, his church grew even faster. Because now he's sharing his ideas, and now his ideas are all over the world now. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's loving his ideas. So, and he starts finding his real purpose, which is leadership, not just church. Yeah. You know? So yeah, I love that. And then the book, the quote I have is, a book is a gift you can open again and again. You know, and I think that right there is beautiful because a lot of these books I've read multiple times. Definitely audio books I listen to a lot of times over and over. So yeah, I think that's the key. Definitely being, you know, young African American males who never really read books or shit, we're allowed to read with certain years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's something we all need to dive into for sure.
Yeah, because I know my daughter Kira, she loves to read. And at the beginning of the school year, she's in the third grade. She's in one of the second and third grade, but she has a 7th grade reading ability.
Oh wow! Shout out Kira.
told, like, her teacher this year told her that she has, like, doing that little SBAC test. She got the highest that she's ever seen.
Oh wow, that's wild.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
kudos. Yeah, kudos to her. Yeah, clap that up. I like that. Congrats, Kira, on that one.
She's going to the 3rd grade.
Einstein, baby Einstein.
I got 4 kids.
At least one of them turned out good.
I call them each other name, but they know who they are.
Yeah, they know that. We all now.
Yeah, man.
Nah, I feel that. But yeah, fellas, anything else you guys want to leave off with?
Nope, just read more books.
Step your knowledge game up. Read a book, motherfucker. Read a book. Wash your ass. Y'all remember that commercial? Y'all remember that commercial? Read a book, motherfucker. Read a book.
That sounds like a skit up there.
What? I'm gonna play it after this interview over. But Marvin, man, appreciate you coming out here, fam, man. Thank you for the great topic you brought to us today, and I think that was a great episode. I appreciate you, fam.
Thank you for the great books.
Yes, sir. Always, man. I'm always gonna share. If you guys ever had your book suggestions, reach out to us. We got you. I'll give you something to read. Something to blow your mind for sure. Yes, sir. Mr. 13.
Yes.
Appreciate you for another episode, brother.
Of course. Thanks for facilitating this. I definitely needed this episode for sure. So.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. You need new projects that coming out soon?
Honestly, trying to figure out that, or still learning the bass, like learning it as an entity.
Okay.
I have some type of loop going, and like I don't know what it's going to turn into, but then just kind of taking a break. But I kind of also explained that in my poem that I said before we started recording of where I'm kind of at. So,
right.
But eventually it'll come along. I'm inspired again. I just need to get my foot down in it. You know what I mean? And keep pushing. But things will be more interesting and more lively in the field of it. As I create.
Right.
Like
So
a painter. That's what it sounds like.
So look forward to that, y'all. But other than that, I just need my break and figure out where I'm going first.
Right.
So
I feel that, man. You already know you got it for damn sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so everybody out there listening today, you already know how to reach out to us on IG, Facebook, or Gmail, jkspodcast702@gmail.com. Hope you guys had a wonderful day, a marvelous afternoon, a splendid evening. Sign up for your Audible membership now if you haven't. Don't miss out. And remember to just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Yes, sir.